Ah, the world is full of whispers and shadows, a place where others plot and scheme with quiet malice, hoping to see you fall. Their eyes burn with envy, their hearts beat with disdain. Yet what they fail to see is the power that lies within you. They thought they could break you. They thought they had. You figured out. They had their plans carefully laid out. But what they failed to realize was that you were never the pawn in their game. You were never the one to be controlled. You were the one meant to control, and they played right into your hands. Now they will see what happens when you turn their game against them. You have become the game master. They thought they knew your weaknesses. They thought they could exploit your vulnerabilities. But in doing so, they overlooked one crucial thing. They underestimated your resilience. They underestimated your will to rise above the storm. They saw your struggles as signs of defeat. But what they didn't understand was that the fire within you only grew stronger. With each challenge, with every obstacle placed in your path, you found a new way to adapt. You found a way to turn the tide in your favor. And now, as they watch in horror, they see the very thing they feared most. A version of you that is unstoppable, a force that can no longer be contained. They wanted to see you crumble. They wanted to see you fail. They wanted to savor the sweet taste of your downfall. But what they didn't realize is that they were simply fueling your rise to greatness. With every setback they handed you, you learned, you grew, and you adapted. You turned their venom into fuel. You took their hatred and transformed it into strength. Each plot against you only made you sharper. Each scheme to see you fall became the stepping stone for your ascent. They played right into your hands because now they are nothing but pawns in a game. You control a game that you have mastered. You are no longer the one who follows their script. You are the one who writes the rules. You are no longer the one who reacts. You are the one who anticipates their moves and counters them with precision. While they scramble in confusion, you stand firm and unshaken. They are now at the mercy of your genius, for you have become the architect of their destruction. They plotted your downfall, but in the end, they became the very instruments of their own demise. Do not let their actions fool you. They thought you were weak. They thought you were vulnerable. But you have shown them that the greatest weapon lies not in brute force, but in the mind. It lies in the ability to think beyond the immediate. It lies in the strength to endure and persevere. Long after others have given up, you have become the embodiment of survival. The person who has turned pain into power, adversity into opportunity. You have taken everything they threw at you and used it to build a throne upon which you now sit. You have become the game master, and they are nothing but pieces on a board they can no longer control. Every time they tried to knock you down, you rose. Every time they tried to crush your spirit, you fought back with a fire they could not extinguish. Every time they threw a challenge your way, you used it to sharpen your edge. And now, as you stand at the pinnacle of your power, you look back at them with a cold smile. They have no idea what they have unleashed. They thought they could break you, but all they have done is awaken a force of nature, a force that is unstoppable, a force that will leave their plans in ruins and their hopes in ashes. What they failed to understand was that you were never meant to be a part of their game. You were always meant to be the one to take control of the board. They thought they could predict your moves. They thought they could control your fate. But you have proven them wrong at every turn. You are no longer a player in their game. You are the creator of your own destiny. And now, as they watch you claim victory, they realize too late that the tables have turned. You have become the game master. You are the storm that they could never weather. You are the tide that will never recede. You are the one who stands tall when the world tries to bring you to your knees. They thought they could destroy you, but they didn't understand the power of your spirit. They didn't understand the power of your mind. They didn't understand that no matter how many times they tried to break you, you would only become stronger. They failed to see that the very thing they feared most was not your weakness, but your strength. Now the tables have turned. You are the one who makes the rules. You are the one who decides the fate of the game. And as they watch from the sidelines, they realize that their plans have failed. Their schemes have crumbled. Their hopes have been dashed against the rocks of your unyielding will. You are the game master now, and they are nothing but pawns in a game they can no longer control. It was never about the battle they thought they could win. It was always about the war, and you have proven that you are the master of the war. You have outsmarted them, outlasted them, and outgrown them. With each passing day, you became stronger and more determined. With every move they made, you adapted and evolved. And now, as they stand in the ruins of their own plans, they realize the truth. They were never in control. It was always you. And now, it is too late for them to change the course of their fate. In the end, it was never about them and their schemes. It was always about you and your resilience. It was always about your ability to rise above the chaos and take control of your own destiny. They may have plotted your defeat, but you became the game master, and now the game is over, and they have lost. The path that was once clouded in uncertainty has now cleared before your eyes. The road you walk is no longer one where others dictate your steps. It is a path you've paved yourself through sheer determination, sweat, and an indomitable spirit. Every scar, every struggle, every betrayal that was once seen as a setback has now transformed into a badge of honor, a testament to your survival. You have emerged from the shadows of their expectations, the chains of their manipulation, and now stand in the full brilliance of your power. They believed they could shackle you, tie you to their whims, and make you a slave to their desires. But what they failed to understand was that you were never meant to be confined. They mistook your silence for weakness, your patience for passivity, and your calm for fear. But now, the silence is broken, the patience rewarded, and the calm is the eye of the storm that they are trapped in. They have lost because they failed to see you for who you truly are. Your enemies have always been close, lurking in the shadows, whispering in the dark corners, plotting your downfall. But what they didn't know was that you were listening, you were watching, and most importantly, you were learning. They think their schemes were subtle, their plans clever, but they failed to realize that you were never their target. You were always their master. They tried to shape the world around you, to control your every move, but you have done something far greater. You have shaped yourself, molded your very essence into something unstoppable. While they were busy thinking they had outwitted you, you are already 5 steps ahead, reading the patterns of their deceit, understanding the limitations of their manipulation, and breaking free from their illusionary grip. What you must understand is that this victory wasn't handed to you. It was earned through the fires of relentless trials and tribulations. You were forged in the crucible of hardship, and instead of being destroyed, you became the weapon, the force that could not be undone. Every moment of doubt they planted in your mind, every word of discouragement they spoke, every lie they told was just another layer of armor you built for yourself. They believed they could break you down, make you weak, but they didn't realize that every strike against you only made you stronger. You began to understand that the true strength doesn't come from avoiding challenges, but from overcoming them. They thought they could see your breaking point, but in truth, there was no breaking point, only an unyielding spirit that refused to submit. When they plotted your defeat, They had no idea that they were preparing you for greatness. They assumed you were fragile, that you would collapse under pressure. But now, as you look back on the battlefield of your life, you realize that you have emerged not just unscathed, but empowered. What they failed to see was the strength hidden beneath the surface of your calm exterior, the quiet determination that pulsed through your veins like fire, the resilience that refused to bow to their tyranny. With each plot they laid, you learned. With each attempt to hold you back, you grew. And now, as they stand in the wreckage of their own misguided ambitions, you stand as the undisputed champion, the master of your own fate. It is in their defeat that your true power is revealed. They never understood that when you are pushed to the edge, you don't fall, you soar. Their efforts to break you only open the door to your full potential. And now, they are left to watch as you rise higher than they ever dreamed possible. They attempted to lock you into their narrow vision of the world, tried to reduce you to nothing more than a footnote in their story. But your story was never meant to be small. Your story was always meant to be legendary, and they have become nothing more than a chapter in the book you are writing. Their schemes are dust, their plans forgotten, and in the end, it is you who stands victorious with the world at your feet. But let us be clear, this victory, this moment of triumph, is not a mere fluke, nor is it a stroke of luck. This victory is a result of your intellect, your ingenuity, your ability to adapt and outsmart those who would seek to control you. The true game master does not rely on brute force, on raw power alone. No, the true game master is the one who can think several moves ahead, who can turn every setback into an opportunity, every disadvantage into an advantage. And that is what you have done. You have played the long game, biding your time, waiting for the right moment to strike. And when that moment came, you struck with precision and power. Your enemies never saw it coming because they never understood the depth of your mind, the strength of your resolve. They believed they could wear you down, that they could defeat you by outlasting you, by making you question your worth, by creating doubt in your heart. But what they failed to see was that you were never going to break. The more they pushed, the more they attempted to take from you, the stronger you became. They thought they had time on their side, but time was your ally, not theirs. You understood that patience is a weapon, a tool that can be wielded to great effect, and you used it masterfully. While they rushed to execute their plans, you patiently waited for the perfect moment, the moment when their own mistakes would lead them to their downfall. They underestimated your ability to withstand pressure, to play the game of life with such a calm, calculated demeanor that when the storm came, you were already prepared. Now, you look at them, and they are nothing but shadows of what they once were. They have been undone by their own hubris, their own arrogance. They believed they could control you, but in the end, it was their own arrogance that blinded them to your true power. You never needed to be like them. You never needed to stoop to their level or play by their rules. You have always been above that. And they, in their pursuit of dominance, never once realized that the one they were trying to defeat was not only untouchable, but destined to rise higher than they could ever dream. In their defeat, you find not just victory, but liberation. Liberation from the chains of their control. Liberation from their attempts to limit your potential. You are no longer bound by their expectations, no longer constrained by their vision of who you should be. You are free, free to live on your own terms, free to shape the future however you see fit. This is your time. This is your moment. And as you stand at the summit, looking down at the wreckage of all they have tried to build, you realize something profound. They were never in control. You were always the one in charge. You were always the one who held the power. What they failed to understand, what they failed to see, was that you were the one who controlled the game from the very beginning. They believed they could shape your destiny, but in truth, it was you who shaped theirs. They are now nothing more than pawns in a game they will never understand. Players in a world they can no longer navigate. They have lost, and they have lost because they never understood the one simple truth that you always knew. In the end, the game belongs to the master, and you were always meant to be the master. And so, as the dust settles and the echoes of their defeat fade into the distance, you stand alone, victorious. You have risen, not in spite of their efforts to break you, but because of them. You have become the game master, and they have lost. But let us not forget what truly built this power inside of you, the strength you gained by overcoming, by enduring yet again. This victory wasn't born from the absence of struggle. It was born from the struggles themselves. You see, your enemies, they thought their attacks would break you. They thought that by pushing you to your limits, they could shatter your resolve. They believed that hardship would crumble your spirit, but they were wrong. They didn't understand that the more they pressed you, the more they pushed you down, the more you found within yourself to rise. Each obstacle they placed in your way was simply another opportunity to grow. Every challenge they hurled at you became a stepping stone, a chance to build your inner fortitude. Where they saw a failure, you saw a lesson. Where they hoped to see weakness, they found resilience. With each step you took, you not only grew stronger, but smarter. Your endurance was not just physical, but mental, emotional, and spiritual. You developed a depth of understanding that allowed you to stand firm in the face of their attacks, unwavering, unbroken. And so, when they thought they could push you to the brink, when they thought they could make you question your worth, you instead found strength in their attempts to destroy you. You transformed their violence into power. You turned their attempts to undermine you into a forge where your will was tempered and made unyielding. And now, as they stand in the ruins of their own failed ambitions, you see something they never saw. You understand the game on a deeper level than they ever could. What they failed to comprehend was the unseen force that drives you, the power of the mind, the power of foresight, and the power of adaptability. While they believed in the illusion of control, they failed to see the bigger picture, the one you were weaving all along. They were fixated on the surface, the immediate, the visible. They thought they had figured you out because they saw what was in front of them, your struggles, your moments of vulnerability, your moments of doubt. But they didn't realize that these were just pieces in the larger puzzle, pieces that they misunderstood. What they failed to recognize was that you were not reacting to the immediate. You were preparing for the inevitable. You had already understood the dynamics of the situation in ways they could not even begin to imagine. While they tried to control the outcome, you understood the truth. Outcomes are rarely controlled by the hand that grasps them the hardest. True mastery comes from letting go of the illusion of control, of understanding that some things are simply beyond our grasp. You never tried to control every factor. Instead, you focused on what you could change, what you could shape. You knew that flexibility and adaptability were the true hallmarks of a master. They believed their schemes were ironclad, but you were the shapeshifter, the one who could bend and adapt, who could see the path when others were blind. You understood that the mind is the ultimate weapon. Where they saw weakness, you saw opportunity. Where they saw their plots crumbling, you saw a chance to rise. Your ability to think, to calculate, to maneuver with precision in a world that demands chaos. That is what made you the master. They thought they were the ones orchestrating the game, but it was you who always held the strings. And now, as you stand above them, victorious, you realize that this moment is not just a victory over them, but over everything that ever tried to defeat you. This victory is the culmination of your unshakable confidence, your unyielding belief that no force could ever defeat you. Confidence, true confidence, doesn't come from the absence of doubt or fear. It comes from the knowledge that no matter what happens, you will always find a way. It comes from the deep-rooted understanding that you are capable, that you have been through the fire and come out stronger each time. While they relied on brute force, on tactics that were predictable and tired, you relied on something far greater, the confidence that comes from knowing who you are. This confidence was built through years of challenges, of obstacles, of battles fought and won, even when the odds were against you. You did not simply survive, you thrived, and that is why you have triumphed today. The confidence to stay true to yourself, to trust in your abilities, and to trust in the power of your mind, that is what set you apart. When they doubted you, you never doubted yourself. When they tried to bring you down, you stood taller. Their attempts to undermine your spirit only strengthened your resolve. This is the kind of confidence that cannot be shaken by words, by attacks, by schemes. It is the kind of confidence that is rooted in knowing that you are always meant for greatness, that you were never meant to be controlled or defeated. And now, as the game ends and they stand defeated, you understand that your confidence was never misplaced. You were always meant to be the master. And so, as the dust settles and the echoes of their defeat fade into nothingness, you stand unshaken, unyielding, and victorious. They plotted your downfall, they schemed to break you, but all they did was awaken a force far beyond their comprehension. You have risen, not because of their attempts to destroy you, but in spite of them. You are the game master now, and they are nothing but pawns lost in the game they never understood. In the end, you've proven that true strength lies not in avoiding the fight, but in rising above it and rewriting the rules of the game. They have lost, and you have become what they feared the most, the one who controls the game.